Welcome back to Crochet Rocks. I've stopped the previous video after the making of the pastry in case I went wrong here, so I could at least separate them. So this one picks up where the other one left off. While my pastry is resting, I'm going to melt this butter over a low heat. Once it's melted, I'll start adding the other ingredients. So I'm going to pause the video for now while that's melting, because it will take a while and it'll be a bit boring. So I'll come back to you once that's happened. Actually, while that's melting, I'll just let you know all of the ingredients. I will put them in the description box below, but for the pastry we had 226 grams of plain flour. That's 8 ounces. You'll also need some extra for rolling out. We had 113 grams of butter, which is 4 ounces, but I half that with lard, so you can do either. And water to mix, and I put in some liquid hermicitas because it doesn't taste like sweetener, but you can put in a little sugar. So for the almond topping then, we need 170 grams, which is 6 ounces of granulated sugar. We need 4 ounces of butter, which is 113 grams. 1 beaten egg, 1 teaspoon of almond essence, 170 grams of oats, any rolled oats, and 28 grams, which is 1 ounce of flaked almonds for the top. We also need half a jar of raspberry jam, which I'm not sure if that's what you'll call that all over the world, but this is how we have our raspberry jam. Whether you call that jelly or not, I really don't know, but we just call it jam. And I like seedless because I don't like bits of pips in my teeth. So that's still melting, so I'm going to pause the video. Don't worry, all those ingredients and the method will be in the description box as well, which will take me a little while to do, but I'll just pause it for now and come back to you once it's melted. Okay, that's nicely melted and I've turned the heat off, and now I'm going to add the sugar. Just pop that in, and the oats, just pop them all in, and I'm going to add my what's it called, almond essence. I think it's about, just not opened this yet, so here we go. Just going to put in a little bit. This is extract, so I'm just going to put a teaspoon in, and hopefully it will be enough because I didn't have essence. Put that there a second. And I need to add my beaten egg, which is here. So I'll pop that in, and I'm going to give it all a good mix up with my spoon. Oh, and you've got the optional cup of tea, which, you know, never a bad thing. So once that's all combined, it's time to revisit the pastry and roll that out. So there we are, all mixing it together nicely. This is the first time I've made this one with oats. I've not done this one before, so I've no idea what it's going to be like. But Gary liked the look of it, so I thought we would try this one. First time for everything. So that's all combined and mixed. So I'm going to pause the video now while I get my board ready for my pastry. Okay, so I'm probably not going to be able to film this part. I've preheated my oven now for 180. I've greased my pan, dish. The problem I have is while I'm here self-isolating at this house, I don't have all my equipment, so I do not have a wide variety of pans. You've seen my heart-shaped pan, that really wouldn't really work. And I have this one, which I brought from home, and it's just a bit too small, I think. And then this one is a bit on the big side. So ideally, I'd need kind of a rectangle pan that's about 7 by 11. Oh, and I keep forgetting the microphone, so I hope you Sorry about that. I hope I didn't hurt your head. Anyway, as I was saying before, I realised that I just didn't have a microphone on. I've preheated the oven to 180. I don't have the absolute right pan for this. You need a 7x11, and this is about as big as I can actually muster. So here's my pastry. I've had it cooling in the fridge for a little while. I'm just going to leave it to come to room temperature a little bit to make it easier to work with, but it's it came together nicely, so I just don't want it to be a bit sweaty, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. And I'm going to move the camera because A, I won't roll it out very well in front of you all, and B, I can't roll it out over here, so I'm going to have to move it out of the way. And you don't really need to see me make a mess of it, so I'm going to pause it, roll it out. Next time you see it, it will hopefully be wonderful and in there. It might be a bit patchwork, which tends to happen sometimes to my pastry, so don't judge. Well, I have to say it rolled out really well, so I'm now going to just put it on there and try and get it into some kind of shape. But it did roll out really well. I think that's because, as I say, I use a mixture of lard and butter, which makes it a little bit more pliable. Butter pastry can often just crumble, break and stuff, so that just helps it out a little bit. That's a little tip that I learned from my mum. So I'm going to pop it in the pan now, and then we're going to start combining. So I just need to move this out of the way while I do. Didn't really want to not show you any of the process, so it's just a case of like making it fit in and getting it in all the corners now. With the camera being in the way, that's not quite so easy, but I'll give it a go. You will get a little bit of puckering if you've got a round pan. It actually made an awful lot more pastry than I thought, so I can do something else with that. That's no problem. Just find something else to... My mum used to make decorations on top of her flans and stuff with it, but obviously this one you can't really do that. But it's fitting in really well. It's nice and pliable. The only bit that is kind of lacking is just there, but it's round. What can I say? I could have gone over a little bit further, but I didn't. So now I'm just going to trim it up, which I normally just do with a knife, old-fashioned way. Probably drop it on camera. Just go round, trim it all up, turn it slowly. I can always flute it when it's done, make it look a little prettier. My one little gap there. And just move that out of the way. So now I'm ready to start combining. So I'm just going to pause the video a moment. So right now what we do is we're putting in our half a jar of the raspberry jam. So we just spoon it out and get it in there. That should be about half a jar, and we just kind of spread it around, get it to, doesn't want to of course, but just evenly spread that around. I might need a bit more actually, because it's round, it might take a little bit more. Depends how much of a jam kind of layer you like. Kind of like mine to be a bit generous. So don't really want any of this jam left over, because it's it all needs to go while I'm making these recipes, because I don't really want to be doing it again. I want to get stuck into the low carb bin, and those recipes will be coming your way when I get underway with it properly. I've kind of done my cutting down and done bits. I've lost a little bit of weight, which is good, but I did promise Gary this some time ago, so I kind of have to get it on, I think, and get these bits out of the way that I promised him. I also promised him a coffee and walnut cake, so he hasn't forgotten that. He doesn't forget much, does Gary, and so I need to do that one. I'm not even sure, I think that might be it once I've done that. Done all the others that I promised. Almost even. I need to get a little bit into that corner over there. That's it, and it should be nice and even. in a minute when I'm done. Hope you can hear me because my microphone is just slightly on the other side of the camera now. I didn't want it to dangle into the food because that would do it no good whatsoever. So I think once it starts to get hot and cook, this will even out a little bit anyway. But it's quite good. Not there's a little bit of gaps here and there, so just plug them up like that one. And there's a little bit there. There we are. And sort that out. That's it. So now we just put the layer of the topping on with that spoon. I'll come over the other side for that. Okay, so I've plugged in. That means I don't have a microphone on now. So I've got my mixture, and I just need to pop that on and spread it out and dot it about. I don't want to not have enough. So I'm just I've got a feeling that heat may have stayed on a little bit more than it was meant to. I don't know if it's meant to or not. I've never made this before. Looks okay to me. That's all that matters. If not, I'll just have another cup of tea. Because everything's fine with a cup of tea. Right, so just keep putting it in areas where you've got a bit of a gap. Get it all on. Try and get it off the spoon. Smells wonderful. I love the smell of almonds. I've got an unhappy horse outside. I don't know if you can hear that. It's having a bit of a neigh. Okay, so we get the last bits on. And we'll just spread it around evenly. Well, if this doesn't turn out right, you know it's because I accidentally left the heat on, so my oats mixture was cooking a little bit. I thought I turned it off. I could have sworn I did. Never mind, that looks like that. I may have put too much jam on there, you know, that might ooze over. But you know, it's all good. It all tastes good. Maybe I need to get a little bit of that. Put it on there. Because it doesn't want to. Here we are. And you're meant to just now flake the almonds on top. Which I'll have here. You don't have to if you don't like flaked almonds. But Gary does. So we're putting them on. Sorry if I'm a little quieter, but I don't have a mic in now. I charged the phone up, but I guess with all the pulls in for bits and bobs, it shake them on, it might be easier. So that's it, we're done. All we've got to do now is bake it for about 25-30 minutes until it's golden brown on the top. Let it cool down and slice it. So I'm going to pop it in the oven and cross my fingers rather a lot, and I'll come back to you once it's done. Well, it's almost time to take it out of the oven, and I had enough of that pastry left over to make some jam tarts. So I'm just going to put those in and get that tart out, the Bakewell tart, which isn't from Bakewell, and see what it looks like. There we are, nicely toasted and looking good. I just hope it tastes as good as it looks, but the proof of the pudding, as they say. So I'm going to let that cool down and let Gary be the judge, because he's the one who's wanted it. I just hope it's as nice with oats. I've never heard it made with oats before, but we shall see. I did nick an almond off the top. They do taste lovely. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it, and bye bye for now, everyone.